One of the things that we've seen recently with selling is that we've become much more intellectual about the craft. And maybe starting with guys like David Ogilvy, who sat down and wrote out step by step 600 pages worth of like, here's how you advertise, here's how you sell, and the reasons why you sell to a housewife the way you sell to a housewife. So we've become really intellectual. At the same time, technology has advanced considerably. So we have technology doing for us what used to be, we would go to the public library to look up things. Now, I mean, who even knows where their local public library is, right? And so we've got these two issues. We've got a very intellectual understanding of selling, and we've got technology that can do a lot of work for us. And it's really squeezed out some of the most important factors, being emotional intelligence. And in fact, what I really appreciate is most recently, over the last few weeks, there's been several articles, one by ESPN, about how ratings of quarterbacks have been highly emotionally intelligent quarterbacks are the best quarterbacks that succeed, even though they have low IQ, like Brett Favre, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, all have below average on the Wonderlic test, which is the intellectual test that they provide, but they're highly emotional. When they throw the football, they can actually see their brains create feelings about how that's going to feel when someone catches the ball, and or how the feeling of someone hurting them or getting tackled actually helps them react better. But for sales, we haven't done this. What we've done for selling is said, follow these 7 steps. And it's really become problematic because when those 7 steps have failed, we've introduced technology, and we said, oh, well, maybe if you had better lead gen and demand gen and Salesforce automation and customer resource management, and right, we've got all these demand generation systems that are supposed to be creating more demand, and they're really not. They're like, dragging customers to our door, kicking and screaming, and with first chance they're out the door. So the one thing that solves that is understanding this concept of emotional intelligence. That's really understanding what makes people do what they do and why they do it. And the fact that we make decisions 84% of the time based off of our emotions, how we feel about something. And we then try to take that down a tangent and say, oh, well, that's trust, or oh, that's credibility. We assign these labels to it. But really what it is that deep in our soul, we make gut reactions based off of how we feel at the time about ourselves and the other person. So if you don't know how you work, right, it's really hard to know how someone else works. And I know in selling, it's like, don't sell the way you want to be sold to, sell the way the other person wants to be sold to. It's bullocks. So why do we do things? Well, we do things based off of fear and love and avoidance of pain, right? It's the exact same principles of our forefathers. So when our forefathers, our ancestors, were in the jungle and they saw the grass move and a flock of birds fly up, their senses were on full alert, right? In fact, your brain tells your saliva glands to stop working, which is why when you're really nervous, your mouth feels dry, because your brain is saying, save the energy, there might be a tiger jumping out at you. Your bladder stops working. All of the non-vital organs stop working at the same time. Your adrenaline attaches to your muscles, so you're twitchy and you're ready to go. And there's no tiger. It's just your boss asking you why that deal didn't close yesterday. So if we don't understand how our systems work, then someone says, well, that sounds like a high price to me. And immediately what happens is we're in full alert, and we start being frantic, and we look like idiots, not because the 7-step process didn't work, and not because this amazing technology didn't work, but because we weren't intelligent emotionally enough to say, so that person's asking, that price is too high, calm self, adrenaline, go away. That person wants to feel satisfied that they're making the right decision. And so it's just like this deep awareness. It goes back to the head game, right? We don't spend enough time being honest with ourselves. And a lot of this just comes from generations of us half-assing life. So this is one of those things where you can't be like an all-star salesperson and a loser as a person. I'm sorry, it goes hand in hand. So we have to feed our minds better things. We have to be better people instead of just trying to do better sales activities. This is where this emotional intelligence comes in quite a bit to help us be better people. Just because we know what makes us tick, and we suspect that it's happening in the same person on the other end of the chair from us, is that they're fearful, right? And so a person who's unaware goes, well, I'm the highest price and I have the best product, so you must be crazy. But an emotionally intelligent person says, so you're fearful, and how can I make you less afraid? How can I make you more courageous? And when you do answer the question of that, how can you make someone courageous, they buy your product. And your sales problem isn't the 7 steps, it isn't the technology, it's just you just feeling what that other person is feeling.